Abraham intercedes for Sodom. Then the men rose from there and looked towards Sodom, and Abraham went with them to send them on their way. And the Lord said, I shall hide from Abraham what I am doing, since Abraham shall surely become a great mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him. For I have known him in order that he may command his children and his household after him, that they keep the way of the Lord, to do righteousness and justice, that the Lord may bring Abraham what he's spoken to him. And the Lord said, because the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grave, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry against it, that it has come to me, and if not, I will know. Then the men turned away and what went towards Sodom, but Abraham stood before the Lord. And then Abraham came and said, would you also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there were 50 righteous within the city, would you also destroy the place and not spare it for 50 righteous that were in it? Far be it from you to do such a thing. As this is to slay the righteous with the wicked. So the wicked, far be it from you, shall not be judged after the earth to do right. So the Lord said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I will spare all the places for their sakes. Then Abraham answered and said, indeed now, I who am but dust and ashes have taken it upon myself to speak to the Lord. Suppose there were 5 less than 50 righteous, would you destroy the city of lack of 5? So he said, if I find there 45, I will not destroy it. And he spoke to him yet again and said, suppose there should be 40 found there. So he said, I will not do it for the sake of 40. Then he said, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak, suppose 30 be found there. So he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, indeed now, I have taken it upon myself to speak to the Lord. Suppose 20 should be found there. So he said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 20. Then he said, let not the Lord be angry, and I will speak once more. Suppose 10 should be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for the sake of 10. So the Lord went on his way as soon as he had finished speaking to Abraham, and Abraham turned to his place. Sodom depravity. Now 2 angels came to Sodom that evening, and Lot was sitting on the gate of Sodom. When the Lot saw them, he rose to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face towards the ground. And he said, here now, but my lords, please turn to your servants' house and spend the night, and wash your feet, then you may rise early and go on your way. And they said, no, but you will spend the night in an open square. But he insisted strongly, so that they turned to him and entered in the house. Then he made them feast and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. Now before they lay down, men in the city, men of Sodom, both old and young, all the people from every quarter surrounded their house. And they called Lot and said to him, where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us, that we may know them. Cunningly. So Lot went out to them and threw the doorway shut and the door behind him, and said, please, brethren, do not do so wickedly. See, now I have 2 daughters who have not known man. Please bring them out to you, and you may do to them as you wish. Only do nothing to these men, since this is the reason they have come under the shadow of my roof. And they said, stand back then. And they said, this one came to stay here, and he keeps out acting as a judge now. We will deal with worse with them. So they pressed hard against the man, Lot, and came near to the breaking down in the door. But the men reached their hands and pulled Lot into the house with them and shut the door. And they struck the men who were at the doorway of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they became weary trying to find the door. Sodom and Gomorrah was destroyed. Then the men said to Lot, have you anyone else here, son-in-law? Your sons and daughters, whomever you have in the city, take them out of this place. For we would destroy the place because the outcry against them has grown great before the face of the Lord, and the Lord has sent us to destroy it. So Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-laws who had married his daughters and said, get up and get out of the place, for the Lord will destroy the city. But to his sons-in-law he seemed to be joking. When the morning dawned, the angels urged Lot to hurry, saying, arise, take a wife and your 2 daughters who are here, lest you be consumed by the punishment of the city. And while he lingered, the men took hold of his hand and his wife's hand and hands and the 2 daughters, and the Lord being merciful to him, and they brought him out and set him outside the city. So it came to pass, when they had brought them outside, he said, escape for your life. Do not look behind you nor stay anywhere in the plain. Escape the mountains, lest you will not be destroyed. Then Lot said to them, please, no more lords, my lords. Indeed, now your servant has found favour in the sight. You have increased the mercy which you have shown me by saving my life. But I cannot escape the mountains, lest some evil overtake me and I die. So now the city is near enough to flee to, and it is a little one. Please let me escape there. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live. And he said to him, see, I have favoured you concerning this thing, also in that I will not overthrow this city for you which you have spoken. Hurry, escape there, for I cannot do anything until you arrive there. Therefore my name is city called Zoya, the sun risen upon the earth. When Lot entered Zoya, then the Lord rained with brimstone and fire on Sodom and Gomorrah from the Lord out of the heavens. So he overthrew the city, all the plain inhabitants, and the cities, and what grew on the ground. But his wife looked back behind him and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham went early that morning to the place where he had stood before the Lord. Then he looked towards Sodom and Gomorrah and towards all the land of the plain. He saw, behold, the smoke land which up like the smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass, when God destroyed the cities of the plain, that God remembered Abraham, and sent out a lot of mist of the overthrow. He overthrew the cities of which the Lord would dwell. And that's the story of Sodom and Gomorrah.